is happening, fellow pioneers of human transportation? I'm Yogi Steve. You're watching ESA, the Electric Scooter Academy. This is my Dualtron Storm 2,000-mile review. First, I have to thank Vora Motors for basically giving me this scooter a few months ago. Probably the best sort of payment I could get for making these videos is an awesome free scooter like the Dualtron Storm. This is my fourth Dualtron, and I think you know I love the brand. There's just so much redundancy built into the parts. You almost never have a failure in any of the hard mechanical parts. The electrical components pretty much never, ever fail. What I love about Dualtron is they listen to the customer base, and they're always bringing out new generations of scooters. Now, in the case of the Storm Limited that came out after this original version, they're having some problems with that where it's not reaching the top speed. I can tell you that the Dualtron Storm that I have, the original version, has been completely vetted by myself, and really Ginger on Wheels did the top speed test. So I don't actually even know what the top speed is on this scooter, but I've gone 50 miles per hour. I regularly go 45 miles per hour in second out of third gear. I just love the beefy components of the Dualtrons. I love the simplicity of how they're built. I feel like they're not over-engineered. They're relatively easy to work on. Dualtron offers one of the highest quality battery monitoring systems, the highest quality LG batteries. These types of batteries rarely, if ever, fail. So I just love the incredible build quality of the Dualtron. It's the only scooter I recommend for most purposes. Now, in this case, we're talking about my Dualtron Storm, which I just recently got above 2,000 miles. Almost all the road miles done during deliveries, almost all the road miles done probably at about 40 miles per hour. I haven't had a single problem with the scooter. I had one flat because I put a nail through a tire, which I replaced. Tire replacement on these is different than working on tubeless tires, so I'm just learning how to do that myself now. You know, Ryan, my mechanic, did this one tire change for me. Eventually, we're going to make a video about how to change the tires on the Storm. The hydraulic brakes are holding up really well, although I feel at 2,000 miles, I definitely need to bleed my brakes. They're starting to get a little bit soft. I've replaced the pads, I think, only twice on the front and the back. I'm getting about 1,000 miles per set of pads on the scooter. So about at the 1,000-mile mark, I put in some pads, and just recently at 2,000 miles, I replaced the pads as well. Maybe I'm having a little trouble with the rotor. You know, these scooters all have exposed rotors, and the rotors can just get very slightly bent. And I noticed in my delivery videos recently, I can hear the sound of a bent rotor, which just means I'm going to replace the rotor. I don't believe in trying to hand straighten your rotor. I think those tools are garbage. If you really want to straighten out a rotor, apparently you have to heat it up to really get it straight, to really true it to the vehicle. So it's just easier and better and cheaper to install a new rotor. So I will probably put a new rotor on the front and back of this scooter at this 2,000-mile point. The hinge is doing really well. I've posted a couple videos about solving the squeaky sound that comes from the hinge. I do like this double pinch crown nut that they have now to replace the old hinge system. It does seem a lot beefier than the first generation hinge that have been on Dualtrons forever, so I'm pretty sure that almost all Dualtrons going forward are going to have this double pinch, is what I call it, this gear nut or clamp nut. And these stems never fail. They almost basically never fail. We haven't heard about a Dualtron stem failing in years. I consistently check all my exposed nuts, bolts, and screws, and nothing seems to be getting loose over time. At 2,000 miles, you would not expect the performance of the vehicle to be affected, and it is not. It pretty much feels exactly like it did out of the box. Now, as far as the performance of the scooter goes, this is not really a performance review video. If anything, I think what people miss about the Dualtron Storm is they should just look at the general build quality. These scooters are going to last a regular user forever. The Storm is like taking the Dualtron Thunder 2 and making it even a little more beefy, even making the components even stronger. The Dualtron Thunder 2 is probably the best scooter on the market in my mind at this point. But overall, I love the scooter. It has taken me a long time to get used to it. It's still a physically more demanding scooter to drive than, let's say, my Dualtron Ultra. It's just because the Storm is longer, it's higher off the ground, it's bigger, it has more acceleration, and when you accelerate this scooter, it wants to get away from you. It doesn't wobble, but you have to hold the steering wheel tight. You basically have to create a lot more full body tension to ride a scooter like this than you do the Ultra. But this Storm is practically a racing scooter. That doesn't surprise me at all, that it's harder to drive than a smaller, lower powered version. That's my 2,000 mile review of the scooter. Nothing has gone wrong. It's a typical Dualtron. Right now I have a Dualtron Ultra with over 10,000 miles. I have a Dualtron 2 Limited with 5,000 miles. My Dualtron Ultra V2, which is currently in my work rotation, just hit 5,800 miles, and this Dualtron Storm is at 2,000 miles. So nobody knows better than me that I can tell you confidently, make your first electric scooter purchase, your last electric scooter purchase, buy Dualtron. I appreciate your support, friends. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave some comments, ask questions down below, use the links, join my Patreon. I appreciate your support.